What's up, guys? So I want to start this video off a little bit differently compared to the previous videos and actually do the commentary talking on screen like this and also doing voiceover throughout the exercises. But to get into it, I started off with the deadlifts, which I did for 2 sets of 5. I warmed up with 225 and then added the weight vest and did another set of 225, and then my 2 working sets were with 315 and 325. And a couple things to keep in mind when you're doing the deadlifts are you don't want to pull with your back and you don't want to round your back as you're coming up. You want to focus on pushing through the ground and squeezing your glutes and your hamstrings and your core and just staying tight throughout the whole movement instead of trying to pull the weight with your upper body. Now, if you are pulling the weight with your upper body, or if you notice that, then you should probably try lowering the weight just to get the form right or get the form down. But again, focusing on squeezing your glutes, your hamstrings, and not leaning too far forward throughout the movement. Then after the deadlifts, I moved into the hops in place, and a couple things I wanted to point out with these that I didn't point out in the first day workout was to actually focus on keeping your upper body tight. So similar to the deadlifts, really with all of these movements, you want to keep your entire body tight as you're doing as you're going through the exercise. But you want to keep your upper body tight, and that's why you guys see me putting my hands on the weight vest just to kind of remind myself to stay tight throughout the hops. And with these, you'll also feel them mainly in your hamstrings and your glutes and your calves, especially at around 30 seconds. Every time I did these, I started to burn all the way up my leg to my glutes and my hips. But you guys shouldn't feel these as much in your quads or in your knees or your shins or anything like that. So if you are, then maybe try to tweak how you're bouncing or you're hopping in place. Maybe try to squeeze your foot a little bit more, keep tension in your foot, or try to actually squeeze your glutes and your hamstrings as you're doing them, just to kind of change the feeling of the movement. But after the hops in place, I moved into wall handstands, and surprisingly, these weren't as hard to go through as they were in day 1. And with this whole day 3 workout, you guys will notice going through it, if you do it, that the overall total of sets and reps is a lot lower than in day 1, and I did that on purpose so that way you have a little bit more energy going through each rep and you can put a little bit more effort into each rep. It wasn't necessarily to make it easier, but just so there wasn't that mental block of you have to do so many more reps to complete the exercise. So with this one, you can put a little bit more energy and effort into the overall workout, and by the end of this, I did feel like I had more energy than in day 1. Day 1, I just felt like it was, I wanted to be done by the end of the day 1 workout, and it felt like it was a little bit more challenging than day 3, but still pretty challenging. But after the wall handstands, I moved into sprints, and all of the basketball courts were actually taken. So I measured this floor in the racquetball room, and it measured out to be 12 yards instead of 30 yards. So I did 12 total sprints back and forth. And again, if you guys have a limited amount of space to do sprints, then that's okay. You can find just if you have a smaller space, and you're still working on the acceleration phase, you're still working on actually just getting up to your top speed, even if you're not getting up to your top speed. So that's kind of what I felt like going through the sprints in this room, was that I didn't necessarily get up to my top speed, but I was still working acceleration and just still hit the total amount of reps and sets that I had. But after the sprints, I moved into single leg squats. And again, with these, I had the reps and sets lowered to 4 sets of 3. And that was just to focus on controlling the movement and putting a little bit more into each of the reps as you go through these. And with these, I felt like I had more balance than I did going through them in day 1. I didn't feel like I had to hold on to the weight vest as tight going through these, and I was able to keep my back pretty straight, as you guys see on the screen right now. I was able to keep my back pretty straight going through all of the reps with these. And to make these harder, I actually tried to speed them up. And what I mean by that is I sped up the lowering phase, just to add a little bit more of a challenge, and I fell through a couple times because I wasn't able to balance. But after the single leg squats, I moved into push-ups. So you want to push through the ground with this part of your hand when you're doing the push-ups. It's similar to pushing through the ground with your feet when you're doing deadlifts or squats. It's just you get a lot more push compared to if you were pushing off with your fingertips. So when I push off with the push-ups, I focus on this part of my hand and driving through the ground with this part of my hand. Same thing with the wall handstands. I'll actually put a lot of weight onto this part of my hand compared to my fingertips. And then something I forgot to say with the wall handstands also was if they get harder as you're going through them, something that I did today actually was squeeze my hamstrings, my quads, my glutes, and my whole core area, which I wasn't doing as much the first time I went through them. And I found that it actually helped push through the 1 minute without feeling as much in my shoulders and my upper back, because after the first time doing the wall handstands with the weight vest, the next day I felt it mainly in my upper back, my shoulders, and my neck it was all tight up there. But after the push-ups, I finished this workout with the ab side-to-side leg twist, and with these I just controlled my feet throughout the whole movement. And again, if you guys can't get the total, in this one it was 4 sets of 25 instead of 4 sets of 20, and I was able to complete I think the first 2 out of the 4 sets with the complete 25 reps without stopping. But in the last two sets, I had to stop about halfway through both of them, and then just continued after that. But if you guys have to stop, it's fine. Just keep pushing through, and as you go through this program, the point is going to be to eventually work up to that 4 sets of 25, and then hopefully by then, that's when you'll be moving on to the second part of the program, which is the more challenging phase, and then things will just get harder again. So that was pretty much it for this workout, though. I'm going to include a dunk session in this video, but something I want to point out or talk about with the dunk sessions is that recently they have been going so well, and I was actually looking back to some old, not old videos, but they're a few months old, of when I was pretty much jumping my highest and dunking my hardest. I was just moving a lot faster then, and I knew I weighed a little bit less then. So I think as I keep going through this program and I get my speed back up, because I took about 2 months where I wasn't really jumping or doing any type of like fast-paced workouts or anything like that. So I think as I keep going through this program and just get back into jumping and moving fast and challenging myself with the workouts and everything, that I'll get back to that point of jumping at my highest and also dunking my hardest and then going beyond that. So that's pretty much it for this workout. I will cut to the dunk session right now.
just got done with that dunk session. That was probably the best dunk session I've had in a while. Like I said, that rim is 910, so a couple inches shorter than that rim that you guys have seen me dunk on before. But overall, it was really good. I felt like I was moving a lot faster, had a lot more energy, and just jumped a lot higher than the past couple dunk sessions. So I feel like I'm getting back into it. Now, if any of you guys are going through this with me, let me know in the comments down below or message me on Instagram. Let me know how it's going so far. But next video, you guys will see the day 4 workout, which I'm actually doing today, but not including it in this video. So that won't be in the next one. And for the one day of anything that I did this week, I just took that as an extra rest day, stretch day. Didn't make a video on that, but yeah, that's it for this video. And I'll see you guys in the next one.